Hello, I'm back. It's Paul from Nirvana. Today I'm joined by Pigtail Girl, a health advocate, a healer, an award-winning DJ, amongst many other things. Her channel is called The Pursuit of Happiness on YouTube, and she is without doubt my favourite holistic wizard on the internet. So, Pigtail, hola.
Hello, Paul. Lovely to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks for such a lovely welcome. I like the way you'd worked in my DJ career angle in there too.
I did. I know you've got many strings to your bow, haven't you? Quite clearly.
Yeah.
So, very
Yeah.
interesting lady. So, I'd like to start, if it's okay with you, by talking about your health story. So, as I understand it, you've had quite an interesting health story. What woke you up to health and nutrition, and what sort of diets or nutrition supplements have helped you along the way?
Well, yeah, it's been a very long journey. So to take you back to my childhood, basically, I was like me and my little brother were the sickly children in the family, where I had two older brothers that never seemed to be ill, but they had a different father. So we had different dispositions. I now believe that me and my brother were actually sensitive to vaccines and Western medicine. I think that's what we were sensitive to. Mm-hmm. And so we were suffering the causes of the medication we were being given, whereas my older brothers who aren't so sensitive, they weren't. So they weren't having the problem. So I had scoliosis develop when I was really young in the back. Mm-hmm. And my little brother had Pigtails disease develop in his hip. And this was both in early childhood, and we'd both had the polio vaccine. Am I allowed to say the word vaccine on your show?
Probably best off saying Maxine or jab.
Oh, sorry, yeah,
That's
sorry,
all right,
sorry. I will censor myself. So I'm pretty sure that it had something to do with the polio vaccine that we were being given back in early childhood, because it's only in adult life that I started to put all these pieces together. How you get given treatments and then you suddenly can develop a situation, basically a health problem. So at a very young age, though, when I first got this diagnosis, I was an avid dancer. It was like singing and dancing was my life, like a lot of little girls out there. You know, I wanted to be a ballerina, or I wanted to be in Cats, you know, the musicals. I had all these dreams. And, you know, the doctor was just telling me, oh, you need to give up dancing, Pigtails. You need to give up your dream. You're going to be in a wheelchair by the time you're 21 if you don't calm down.
Really? Wow.
Because I've got a 33-degree bend in the top, but also like twisting of the spine, so that it bends, but it also twists around. And I've got the same at the bottom, right at the bottom of the spine. So they were giving me this very grim story. And I was naturally, I would say, a very stubborn young lady. I was always stubborn, and I always thought I knew best. And I don't know why I used to think that. And I know a lot of children feel that way. But when it came to what was going on inside myself, I didn't like other people trying to tell me what it was. And I was always questioning, I don't think I'm going to stop my dancing. I told him, I think I'm just going to carry on. So I just had this feeling, even as a 7 or 8 year old, that this dancing was obviously going to help me. Why wouldn't it help me with my back problem? Doing exercises, learning, you know, good posture. Like I'm going off the screen, but, you know, learning to hold myself up straight. And like you can even see in my shoulders on the screen, often I'm sitting like this. This is the scoliosis, the twist in the spine. I have to.
To be quite honest with you, the first thing I noticed about your posture was it looks excellent. It looks really, really good.
Well, this is the training. So I decided to always take my own health into my own hands, and I would do exercises. I would, you know, have books on my head and doing stretches up against my wall, which my dance teachers taught me to do. You know, they taught me, my teachers, to do exercises at home. And I did them religiously. And I trained, and I was naturally very bent and out of shape, not really made to be a dancer at all, bless me. I really didn't have the body for it at that point. God knows why and what had been done. But so I needed a lot of hard work on myself. And I think that was just the karmic start I was planned for me anyway, as the healer path in life. You have to come in and face some adversity in your path from quite early on, because you have to trigger that interest. Like that stubbornness I had and that want to question was my gift and challenge in life, because it was going to be stimulated to make me keep wanting to push the narrative, you know, push through the narrative. When people tell me you can't do this, I would do it. You know, they said, oh, you can't do that, I would do it. If they wanted to put me on drugs or something for life, for a condition, I'd say no, and I would go in the opposite path. And so like, I mean, many years later, as an adult, I was still performing and stuff. I was still doing my exercises and taking good care of my health. I generally learned by my 20s to take care of your own health. And at the time, I remember thinking that was kind of responsible, like being a responsible adult to me was being in control and responsible for my own body, like learning to put the right foods in, learning what feels good for me and what doesn't feel good for me. And what does that in my body mean? What's that telling me when it does that? Excuse me. And learning to take care of myself without needing to rely on an external source to heal me for me. And I, in my mind, in my 20s, was really thinking, wow, this is amazing what I've discovered, that you can do all this stuff. Why doesn't everyone know about it? And what always shocked me, though, at the time, I remember, is that it never entered my head that path that I was taking might actually upset other people. I was so naive and innocent. I was joyfully trying to tell people about the things I'd discovered. And very quickly, I realized that some people didn't like it when you took care of your own health, or you didn't listen to the doctor, or you didn't want to take the medicine. That's weird. You're strange. And it honestly had never entered my head that anyone would ever think that about someone doing something differently, because I guess growing up, I'd never thought like that about anyone else. You know, what other people did was really up to them. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. But it never like bothered me that you were doing something a different way. You know, I had girlfriends who decided to have the scoliosis adjustment to the spine. They have an operation that I was offered where they put metal rods in your back.
Yeah.
And it's quite a serious operation to go through as a teenager, you know, wanting to live your life, and you got 6 months on your back or recovery. And I had friends that went that path. You know, it didn't bother me. I didn't want to go that path, and we didn't bother each other. We were interested to see what the results were, and I was always fascinated in talking to my friends who had different opinions to me and learning from them. So yeah, it was a very weird realization I got in my 20s when I realized that, wow, what I do threatens other people. Like they attack me sometimes. People would actually attack me for wanting to do things like not to receive vaccines for me or my family and stuff like that. And this was way back 15, 20 years ago. I'd already not wanted to use those things. But yeah, that was the strange learning curve for me, is that actually bothers some people. So that was when my eyes started to sort of open up a bit to the idea that there was a kind of brainwashing or sort of mafioso feel to the energy of the Western medicine. And it was almost like a cult. And you didn't realize it till you stepped outside of the circle. And then you look back and suddenly you're like a weirdo, and you're being treated like family members don't trust you anymore, or think you're gone crazy loopy-loop because you've started reading all the packets of the food like some kind of food nutrition extremist. Some people like health nuts. You know, you get called things like a health nut. But so over the years, I've been learning all this stuff about my body, but also learning about how other people react to the idea of holistic medicine, which just it befuddles me, to be honest, Paul, because why wouldn't you want to learn a system that would make you only have to go to the hospital or doctors for absolute emergencies? Like, what's more responsible than that? To not block up the NHS or the health service with useless things and years of treatments costing hundreds of thousands of pounds, where you could just treat yourself at the very beginning when you started to feel that something. You could have said, right, I'm taking care of this right now. And that's what I've always done with my health. Whenever something starts to go wrong, I don't say I'll take care of it 6 months. I'll just live with it and take some pills and not feel the pain or something like that. I'll let myself feel the pain. I won't take any medicine, and I'll say, oh, what's that? Then I've over the years, I've always dealt with it right away. I had thyroidism. I had Hashimoto's, autoimmune thyroidism that I developed after I had my daughter. And I got this terrible thyroidism, and I cured it in 6 weeks. And
really? 6 weeks? How did you do that?
If I hadn't done that, I would have been on medication even now. Like, I'd still be on that medication. I would have been on it for life. You're on that stuff for life, right? So I cured it in 6 weeks. And this was before I'd learned BodyTalk, which I will tell your viewers about as well in a moment, because that's wonderful, or later on in the show. But I just took this, I learned that I learned that there's some emotional reasons for it. So I did some emotional clearing techniques for about the creative expression, the freedom to express yourself creatively. That's what the thyroid is really connected into. So I looked and I addressed any areas of my life where I felt like I wasn't able to express freely my own creativity or myself. And I noticed there were some places, because when you get a baby, sometimes everyone's telling you what you're going to do with your baby, and you can't use your own voice to say what you think's best for your child, because you've got all the family butting in. So like I felt a little bit like everyone had their opinion, but my voice had been stifled a bit. So there was the emotional side that I dealt with. And then I took a thyroid aid supplement that's actually called something like thyroid aid or thyroid or something like this. I bought it on just Amazon. Actually, I found it on Amazon. And I took this because I'd found out that if you've got low selenium levels, some people think if you just take iodine, it's enough for your thyroid. But if you're taking iodine, you must take it with selenium because they work together and one depletes the other. So my thyroidism wasn't caused by a lack of iodine because I'd been taking iodine. But what I hadn't been doing was taking selenium with the iodine. So once I worked that out, and I worked the emotional stuff out, and then I just gave my body all the selenium and these nutrients that I found in one supplement. It just was called thyroid. I can find the actual name if your listeners are interested to find out about it, and put the link down for any thyroid sufferers out there. And so I took that. And at the same time I did that, I took some of the green walnuts tincture. Have you heard of the green walnut tincture? Is it Hilda Clark?
No, I don't think so. No.
From Hilda Clark. For any of your listeners out there who know about Hilda Clark and the green walnut tincture, I also took some of that because someone recommended that had something that cures your thyroid. And within 6 weeks, I was very, very, very much better. I would say 3 months later, I didn't even remember about my thyroid anymore, having any kind of problem.
I know that if you take iodine, I know that you've got to take selenium with it as well. But I have heard that if you eat plenty of Brazil nuts when you're taking iodine, that usually covers you for the selenium.
Yeah, but I'm allergic to nuts. See, that was my problem. Yeah, I have a nut allergy. So that was literally that's what I worked out, because I'm a nut allergy. I'm thinking, oh, that must be the problem.
Yeah.
Because the selenium's often depleted in the food supply. So I wasn't supplementing it.
Well.
Yeah. So if you're not supplementing it, you might not be getting enough. Even if you're eating some nuts, if they're poorly farmed and chemically treated, you're not going to get the same mineral content either.
Yeah.
So
and it's the same with magnesium as well, isn't it? Magnesium is a mineral that we're all, 95% of people are probably deficient in, due to the soil depletion and the fact that we all burn magnesium when we're stressed as well. So most people are now magnesium deficient. Is magnesium something you've used at all?
Yes, I mean I've used so many things, to be honest. I have an apothecary in my cupboard. You open it up, there's just stuff everywhere. Something for everything. When I need this, I've got my baking soda, I've got my borax, I've got my Epsom salts that I use. You can use Epsom salts for magnesium, but you can also get the magnesium flakes that you can buy and just add to your bath. I like to use magnesium in that format because I feel like you get a good full body absorption.
Have you tried Dead Sea salts? Because as I understand it, Dead Sea salts contain more magnesium than Epsom salts. Oh
yeah, they're great. Just a little bit more expensive, I suppose. And sometimes more difficult to get your hands on. I find with Epsom salts, you can just buy like massive tubs of it, and because I put quite a lot in. But yeah, Dead Sea salt is definitely one tool. But didn't I hear that they were running out of it or something? Like wasn't there like a environmental? No, the Dead Sea salt. So is it the mud? There was something like maybe they'd been taking too much of it, and
I'm not too sure about that.
No, because I think that was one of the reasons why I stopped buying it. Not to be a downer on it or anything, but I thought, maybe if there was a shortage of it, I wouldn't want to buy it. I'm not sure if I'm right. I think it is the Dead Sea, because that's like in Israel, is it? The Dead Sea.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's like the water's evaporated and there's just all the heavy salt there.
Okay, that could just be scaremongering though, couldn't it? Because they like doing that, don't they? You never know. Well,
yeah, but I mean, I think that sea in there, it is something that can dry out completely one day because there's nothing feeding into it, is there? The Dead Sea. That's why it's dead. It's a dead sea. It's dying sea.
Yeah. So, what about vitamin D? I understand. I watched one of your videos the other day, and you were saying that you were trying vitamin D for the first time. Are you still taking vitamin D at all at the moment?
Oh, well, I was taking vitamin D, but I didn't need to take it when I was taking the Nanosoma.
Right.
Because once you start taking the Nanosoma, which is, I don't know if your listeners know or have heard yet about Nanosoma, but it's a great little spray. It comes from sugarcane, and it's a kind of alcohol, really, I guess, that's very, very good for you. Polycosanol, I believe
That's
it's
the
called.
one. That's it comes from
Polycosanol.
sugarcane, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, you have to excuse me. I'm not a scientist at all. I'm really an intuitive empath, shaman, healer. All of the long scientists' names that I've had to learn in my anatomy classes, it doesn't come naturally to this
No, I'm
Blonzio.
totally in the same boat. If I try something and it works on me, then I sell it, So I always try something first.
Yeah.
Metasoma or nanosoma is something I haven't tried yet, but I'm really keen to try. Some people I know that sell it, there's like a waiting list for it now. It's quite hard to get hold of at the moment, but some of the claims that have been made about this product are incredible, aren't they? Like it can help your body produce vitamin C.
Produce it, and also it activates your vitamin D receptors, which is what I was initially trying to say, because you asked me about, sorry to interrupt you, about the vitamin D. And that's why with the Nanosoma, they say you don't need to take vitamin D supplement anymore, because it activates your vitamin D receptors. So you're never running out of vitamin D. Like, you could be chucking vitamin D in, but if the receptors aren't turned on to use it fully, you're not getting the benefits, right? That's the problem most human immune systems have. You can be chucking in all the supplements you want, but if your body's not switched on in the right way to get the nutrients from it, you're just it's just going straight through you. Or building up somewhere in your system.
So if I'm getting this right, the body, or every cell in our body, has nuclear receptors. I think that's what they're called. And what Metasoma does is it kind of activates all these nuclear receptors in the cells.
Yes.
So it's not so much that it's not really a supplement as such, but it's helping your body act the way it should do, like putting it in a state of homeostasis, I guess. Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's bringing you into balance. It's like a super fuel for your body, I guess. And it starts by activating little things all in your cells. So the cells are like, oh, hang on a minute. And they become optimum. And then when they're optimum, they're like, oh, what should I do now? I've got all this energy. What should I do with it? And just go around the body. Oh, look at this over here. We must clean that up. Yeah. And you can sort of feel it happening in different areas of the body, depending on how long you've had the situation, or I guess the body knows where the priority is, right? Your body has an intelligence, so it knows, okay, this is the most important thing that I need to take care of right now for survival. So I guess that it's sending the energy where it needs to go first, and it will take care of it in a certain order, which is the same thing we do in BodyTalk healing sessions, is we allow the body to tell us the priority. That's a kind of intuitive energy healing for people who don't know. But we allow the body to tell us a priority, and it has an intelligence. It knows you think you've got a bad back, but actually you've got a kidney and a heart problem. And the heart and the kidney, because they're malfunctioning, you're dehydrated and you're not full of joy. That's why you got a bad back. So you're focused on the bad back, but the body knows the backstory to the bad back, if you get my gist. So the body has a priority within its intelligence to heal that's not always the same as the way we might think it is. Behind the scenes. And I believe Nanosoma is giving it a fuel to optimize those tasks. That's naturally what your body's supposed to be doing anyway with your immune system. That's how it works. You're scanning all the time. You're breathing, your body's scanning, looking for anything that's a distortion or out of place, and then it's processing the information, and then it sends signals out to send whatever needs to go wherever. But when that system is broken or blocked in some way, and the communications aren't working, and there's a demineralization, so the cells aren't working, and the scanning stops working so well, and the body can't know how to take care of this because there's blockages almost in the highway of the body for the information, the nutrients. There's all these blockages going on. That's what's causing the illness. So there's a priority to healing, and it's surprising actually to see sometimes when I do my BodyTalk sessions, the formulas as they unfold. It's like every time I do a session, I learn something new about the body. Like as I do the sessions, I'm learning how the body's working, which for me is brilliant.
That's a great explanation. Thanks very much for that. But of all the things it does, it was the vitamin C thing that really sort of grabbed my attention. Evidently, I've been reading about it, and there's an enzyme in our bodies that used to produce vitamin C millions of years ago, and for for some reason that kind of got switched off. Nobody seems to know the reason why that is. So it's human beings, apes, and guinea pigs that have to get vitamin C through the diet. So it's fascinating stuff. And
I'm wondering if it isn't, sorry, again, Paul, to interrupt you, but I'm wondering if it hadn't got something to do, maybe there was just a huge abundance of fruit around us at that time. And certain animals, maybe we're getting so much vitamin C from our diets, our body just thought, oh, I don't need to make this anymore. If it was a very, tropical period surrounded by monkeys are in the tree, they're going to be, maybe they ate nothing but fruit. So maybe the other animals would take in leaves, green leaves still, which isn't quite maybe having as much vitamin C in it. And the guinea pigs and us will sit there gobbling all the mangoes, all the bananas.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little explanation.
Yeah, I think it's a very good explanation. The conspiracy theorist in me likes to think that maybe there was some sort of genetic manipulation going on. You never know. But you're probably right about that. So yes,
you never know. You never know.
You never know, do you? It's a fascinating subject, and I can't wait to try it. I haven't tried it yet. You were the first person that I heard talk about it ever, going back probably quite a few months, if not longer. And then I saw your interview with Dr. Richard Presser, the Australian guy, and that was really good. I'll link that below our video because that some of the information in that video is really, really interesting. So you mentioned BodyTalk. This is something I've not come across before. So could you explain to my viewers what BodyTalk is and what the benefits are?
Yeah, because it's very interesting. And the way I found it was kind of interesting too. I find that my life, it really sort of pushes me in directions. I'll start asking questions and then the universe is pushing things into my path. Like, this is what you need to be looking at. So I had a friend here in Barcelona where I'm staying. And she kept mentioning this thing, BodyTalk, to me. Oh, you need to do some BodyTalk for that. Oh, you should study BodyTalk. I can see you doing BodyTalk like this to me. And I'd never heard that word ever in my life. And I thought to myself, wow, I've been around this world and back and studied so many things. Surely I would have heard of this. Why hadn't I heard of this? It's been around for years. So I ended up looking it up after she told me, like, for the millionth time about it. And it immediately grabbed me and was fascinating. It's basically... It's a great therapy that you can use in combination with supplements and minerals and things like that. And it's actually a system that's a medicine supplement free system. It's to treat yourself. Imagine now you're stuck on a desert island and you've got no pills, you've got no supplements. It's a system that can teach you how to heal the body without even needing to take a pill or a supplement. So if you have a parasite, instead of having to take an anti-parasitic medicine, we will talk the body mind into recognizing that the parasite's there when we do this tapping technique where we stimulate the body's scanning mechanism, the storing mechanism, and the assimilation mechanism. And then we use our intention to bring things into focus. But when I'm doing a session with someone else, it's basically a consciousness-based medicine. But what a session looks like is a patient will come in and lie down. And first of all, I will get myself in the zone. I do the cortices technique that you should link up to your viewers here. They should all be doing this cortices technique. I talk about it a lot in my videos. I'm just giving you a quick demo here. So this puts me in the zone for right, left brain thinking so I can do the session, which is going to be a series of me questioning my client's body to reveal to me a formula that's like it wants me to focus on, bring into focus, and then tell the body how to deal with it by a system of hand positions and protocols that we use. So it's very interesting because I'm talking to the innate wisdom of the body. That's why we call it BodyTalk, because your body knows what to do, but sometimes you can't communicate fully with your own innate wisdom even, because to communicate fully with the innate wisdom, you have to have the right and brain, left and right hemispheres working together to gain the fuller access to the innate wisdom. That's why we do the cortices, which enables us to get into the right brain state and body state to fully connect with innate wisdom. So innate wisdom is just your localized consciousness that's there with you from birth until you die. It's not the same as your soul or spirit. It's your innate wisdom. It's your localized consciousness. And it's very much your body also is full of its own consciousness and innate wisdom. It's controlling all of the systems in your body all of the time, the homeostasis, right, of your body. It's connecting to so what we're treating is that level of you. We're going straight into the mainframe, straight into the conscious quantum level of you. And then that downloads through the emotional, physical, mental into the physical. And then you will experience the healing. That's why you don't need the medicine anymore. Because when you're taking medicine, you're really only treating this level of yourself. Even though herbs can have little energetic levels to them too. Of course, they have energy frequencies like Nanosoma. Ooh, that's a big one. But at the same time, we can be adjusting the quantum level, not the physical level of our health, the quantum level that's then going to get rid of the initial core, the seed of whatever the problem is that you've got. Now, one thing I noticed with BodyTalk is certain things seem to clear up very quickly and easily with it, like bacterial infections. Bacterial infections, like you don't need antibiotics anymore with BodyTalk. I had bacterial infection in my gum. BodyTalk got rid of that, and that's what really. Then I knew I wanted to do the course. When someone gave me BodyTalk and they got rid of my bacterial infection in my gums, and I'd been taking tea oil and all kinds of stuff, and she said, "Oh, something's irritating you. You couldn't say what you wanted to say, and it's really annoyed you. And it's all stuck there in your mouth. Don't worry, we're gonna do it. Tap that out." And the next day, it had gone. It's all gone without using any supplement. It had just gone. The cause was there, and then it wasn't there, and I'd released it, and it was just like, it's not stuck in the body there. But the one thing I think is the most difficult thing to treat that I've noticed with quantum healing, and it's very weird, is this thing that we call a virus. The virus is a very strange entity, right? As an illness goes, because a bacteria, it's like a living thing. So it's like we know what to do with it. It's a living thing like we are. So when we do innate wisdom, get rid of it, it very quickly can ship it off. The parasites too can ship it out. Candida can ship it out. But I notice the virus is a little bit more difficult to deal with, which is why we have to be careful also putting these things into our body, because I'm not even really sure we fully understand what these things even are yet. As a pathogen goes, they're not really living, kind of. So that's weird.
Yeah,
it's not really a living entity like a fungus or a parasite or a bacteria, is it?
Yeah, I'm the first to admit that I'm not a scientist, so I don't fully understand these things. But the point you're making about these viruses being dead is a very valid one. How can somebody catch a virus if it's dead?
It's so weird, isn't it? None of it makes sense, right?
No.
None of it really makes sense when you think about it.
There's the germ theory or the germ.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Theory. So
that's
yeah.
What do they call that other one? My husband knows the name of it. He likes that one, where they look at the idea that your body's creating the virus as a mechanism. So there's another theory that says you don't catch a virus. Your body makes the virus in response to a toxin.
Right. Okay.
So that's kind of interesting. So it's more of a response by your body where it generates something to create an environment in you that might help you burn up the toxin to get it.
That is an interesting theory, because I think that could link in with geoengineering, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? It could be something to do with what they're letting out of planes and stuff in the sky. Who knows?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you want to go there, I mean, I think we're having a sort of a spiky donut, something just sprayed out into the populace, mixed with some of the old geo. You know, it seems to be. That's really what we're looking at. Yeah, that's the thing, right?
I'm just thinking my YouTube channel's gone already.
But just, I don't know if you can put like a bleep.
Yeah, I'll have to do something.
Apologies if Paul's had to cut half of what I'm saying. Maybe we'll put it on BitChute as well, dear. That's what I do with all my. And of course,
the other thing with all these great things like Nanosoma now and BodyTalk that you were mentioning, the trouble with all this is, as good as it's going to be for humanity, hopefully, I'm going to be out of business.
Well, eventually, my dream is to make people so healthy I don't see them again. So I'm one of those doctors that likes to put myself out of business. But I think there's always people that need wisdom, though. There's always people that need wisdom from others, and so, we'll always be living our purpose, even if our purpose changes during life. If things get better for everyone, and the world doesn't need to be full of healers. Actually, that's my job done. If everyone's healthy and well, great. I'll get on and do something else. Maybe I'll be a pop star finally and set up my electro swing band. Go to Paris.
I saw you doing a great rendition of The Pretenders, Don't Get Me Wrong, the other day. I encourage everyone to go and see that, because it was really, really good. It even includes what is it called? An 80s hair.
Oh yeah,
It was good,
the hair swing. You have to do the
hair swing,
obligatory hair swing.
It
Yeah,
was great, highly impressive.
but that was during the lockdown, and sometimes I just had to do something to stop myself going crazy
Why
and
not?
keep the
I enjoyed it.
spirits
It was
up.
good fun. Yeah,
Thanks.
brilliant. So this leads on to the biology of belief. So this is something I've recently been looking into, and it's basically kind of changing or raising your consciousness to change your whole biology, basically, isn't it? Which is another way that I'm going to talk myself out of going out of business. But you can become a master of your genetics rather than a victim, basically, is the way I kind of interpret it. So could you sort of enlighten my viewers as to what the biology of belief is?
Yeah, and first, I just wanted to make a point, though, that even though I do all this amazing consciousness-based work, I'm still a big believer in like things like Nanosoma and C60, and some of the products like magnesium. That's never going to go out of fashion for me. I'm always, I think your body does need nutrition. Even if you're doing quantum healing, you've still got to give your body what it needs. So if it's lacking in food, even if I'm taking Nanosoma, I'm sorry, but I'm still taking my Q10, and I still take my resveratrol, and I still take some other stuff too with it. My NAC, I'm still taking those things, but I'm also using consciousness medicines on myself because they give me such a relief when I'm having something chronic, ongoing. But the other things are sort of a prevention. Those things you take prevent you getting sick. Right. The consciousness is for once you are sick as well, it will help you get rid of it. But really, if you're doing good nutrition, you shouldn't even get sick. Once you find the right recipe, illness really is then only emotional, which is the biology of belief that we're going to get into. So your body is basically just a web of concepts. So every time you look at something that's supposed to be material and you zoom in and you get to the quantum level and you look closer and closer, what you find is more and more space. Everything has space between it, infinite space. And this is why they say everything is just concepts. The concepts form in the space, the people who believe in the biology of belief, and then the space then creates material things around the concepts, which is why then the tiniest atoms and particles begin to form into shapes and forms that become things. So everything starts off as a concept. We're in an energy down to the material reality here. So it's a trickle down reality from the energy down to the material. This is the last thing that's getting created. So when you're born, you are born with already a structure of concepts, from your conception, right? It's already, you were a concept there, you were conceived of. And you come into being, and already from your mother and your father and your family, your experiences, a lot of concepts are going into you, and you've got external things being done to you, medicine, school, whatever. And anything in your environment is affecting you all of the time on a DNA, RNA level, genetic code level. You are a victim, or you can be a victor of every single thing. Like literally everything is affecting you all of the time. What light your mum and dad had in the house, what kind of light bulb they used, what kind of water was coming out of your tap, how was your time at school, what was your grandfather's life like? Even that is affecting you. Did they go through a drought? Was there a food shortage? Did they go through a war? Then that's going through the genetic memory. So all of these stuffs are concepts that's just gathering in you. And when you're formed, it's your, people call your karma, right? Your story. There you are, gathering of all your ancestors' concepts and memories made manifest. And then the environment that you're born in starts to add to that information. And you can either just be unconscious in the process, and then you'll just be a victim of it all, and it'll just keep coming in, and you won't be correcting it or trying to stop any cycles. Or you become a healer and you start looking at this going, I've got these concepts in me. Where did they come from? Why do I think like this? Why do I behave like that? That's weird. Did I really inherit it? Is that really just written in my genes though? Like they say, arthritis is just in the family. Your dad's had it, your grandpa had it. That means you're going to have it. But does it? But does it though? Or maybe there was an environmental condition they were subjected to that they then repeat. They then, we can get stuck in repeating cycles. If we had no money and we were lacking in food, we can then get stuck in a lack of abundance cycle. Like lack of money can then become another lack of money. Then if I grow up feeling of a lack of money, is that maybe not giving us the arthritis, the feeling of no material support there for us? So is it really just in my DNA that I have to have that? No, I can clear that inherited memory or that belief system, core belief, energetic, and then that I don't have a disposition inherited anymore from my grandparents. I can, on a consciousness level, move that out. And so that's one aspect of how you can use belief to change your health and the hand you've been dealt. Never believe that, oh, your family has this in it, therefore you will or might be a victim of it. That's a belief again that will get put in your mind. You'll start to believe it. And on top of all the other concepts given to you, inheriting that condition, now you've been given an extra one telling you, oh, you're going to get it. And oh, look, oh, she got it when she was 30. Oh, the doctor was right. I did get it when she was 30. Therefore, oh, listen to her. She knows what she's talking about, right? But you didn't realize you were getting tricked there. That was not, that doctor didn't help you. She didn't know what she was talking about. She was giving you another concept to add to your belief system. And then it manifests in your physical self. Unless you were stubborn like me and was like, no, I'm not going to have that concept. No, I'm going to give that one back. I'm going to make my own one, you know. And that's how you defend yourself against incoming concepts. That's why it's good sometimes to be stubborn and question things as they're coming in and push back a little bit, like, what's going on? Do I want to accept that into my being, or do I not want to accept that into my being? And one other point about the concept of the biology of belief is the belief you have about something directly affects the way you interact with it. So it's like the placebo, nocebo. And this is why tyranny will never bring health. Because you cannot destroy people's immune systems and put them into a state of fear and have them with the nocebo and then think you can hold them down against their will and force them into something. How would that ever be health? I call that health. I've got this thing where there's health, which is actually health, and then there's health, which is like I don't know, it's like it's what you see on the TV, and you're just like, do any of these people even know anything about health? I don't think so. No, and this is the biology belief. So if someone really believes that the jabba jabba it's just the most amazing thing they're ever going to have, their physical reaction to that substance is going to be completely different to someone who's being forced against their will into it. And that's actually the biology of belief. It's like if someone really believes chemotherapy is going to cure their cancer and they really believe in it and their whole family's supporting them and they're really going for it, then that chemotherapy is likely going to cure them. But if someone's forced into chemotherapy against their will, doesn't really believe in it, is scared of it, thinks it's dangerous, they'd rather be doing something else, it's more likely they're going to have the nocebo effect and that chemo will end up killing them. And this is all linked into the biology of belief and how we have to be careful, even with our relatives. Like, even though I'm holistic, I'm very careful about not pressuring people into other ways of doing things. And if they've chosen to take a path, to try to support them in that path at least, and not put the evil eye on them and, oh, no, that stuff's going to kill you, because I know now about the biology of belief. That's like a black magic spell now that I'm using with my intention onto someone. Best just to say nothing, look the other way and focus on something else, then try to ramrod, even if you think that supplement is they're like me with a Nanosoma going to cure everything. If someone doesn't want it, they don't want it, and that's fine. And if they want to take the antibiotics, don't sit there for an hour doing the head and over it, nagging them, because you're giving them the nocebo. If they believe that antibiotic is like the best medicine ever, for them it actually will be. This is what we learn in BodyTalk to a certain extent. Obviously, if someone's putting, a nuclear bomb on you, whether you believe it's or not about radiation, I'm pretty sure you're all going to get evaporated. So I think there is a border to it. In some respects,
it's an interesting point. It's something that I've just kind of started to think about, really. I think I heard you talk like this in one of your recent videos. It's a difficult one because I'm a big health advocate. I believe very strongly in a healthy diet and supplementing where necessary with essential nutrients. And I know what you're saying. I just my dad had Parkinson's disease, and he passed away last year. And the last sort of 6 or 7 years of his life were not very nice. They were pretty crap,
Oh, I'm sorry to know about that. God bless him.
So these things happen. But so when I know that something is bad, like an antibiotic or chemotherapy, I do get what you're saying about that. But
it's like but it's about, you can say your piece, but then leave it. If they're not open to the peace, don't think you need to brainwash someone else into doing it your way, because that's the tyrant in you. So we all have to be careful of the mini tyrant we all have living inside us.
Yeah, so I woke up about 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. And when I realised that we were being poisoned, and there was so many carcinogenic things in the food chain, and all these different things to do with geopolitics and everything else, I was really, really angry. That was my first initial reaction, was anger. And that kind of transpired into me going out and telling everyone I cared about, everyone I loved, that the world is not what you think it is. It's done this way, and we're all in trouble with health and all these different things, and it doesn't matter who you vote for, they're all working for the same agenda, blah blah blah. And I didn't get anywhere with that at all. because
you don't get anywhere with it, do you? You're just bashing your own head in a wall, because we've all done it. Because it's justifiable, though, Paul. Once you wake up to what's going on, you do get angry, and you should be angry, and you should want to go and tell everyone you love about it, right? You should. I mean, I want to be told those things, and some of the things I know now is only because someone was brave enough to tell me. But that's a little different, though, from, when you're a member of a family and you're in a space with someone and you're suffering from an illness. Often people with cancer will have 6 different people in the family that all think they know what's best. And they feel pulling. This is what I mean about don't do people's heads in, especially when they're ill, when they're actually ill. If they've made a decision and you're not going to change it, don't stress them out. Just support them. It's better at that point, and not to be bloody minded and angry because they didn't do it your way and give them some extra negative energy. If you really love them, then take care of them and give them the best emotional support you can while they're doing whatever it is. If they've decided to do chemo, give them the best supplements you can. Maybe you can give them something that can help them with the chemo while they're on it. Think like that. Think, if I'm a real healer, how can I add, without being a tyrant, something to help this person in their choices and their life journey? So it's about being constructive, I think, just not being angry and confrontational.
Yeah,
right?
Totally. I mean, like I say, I was very angry when I first woke up. I don't employ those tactics anymore. I've learnt from my mistakes on that front. Unfortunately, there are some people in my inner circle, family and friends and stuff, that are very sort of hardcore, believe in the system, believe in the mainstream media, etc. And anything outside of that is complete and utter bullshit, conspiracy theory. And I've, burnt some bridges possibly.
Sounds just like my fam.
Well, I think it's like most families. I think
most families, isn't it?
Most people that are open to this information do their research and come to a lot of realizations about the way the world really is. They're often, what's the word? Not ostracized by their families, but they're the odd ones out,
Yeah.
And it can be. I mean, sometimes.
You can be disrespected. I've been insulted, taunted, had vicious, slanderous messages sent to me via text from family members.
Yeah, me too.
Wild things that you triggered. Talk about triggered, like.
Yeah, it's very difficult, isn't it? It's very difficult. Let's talk about something a bit more positive. Adaptogenic herbs. I know that you've made teachers in the past, and when did you find out about adaptogens, and do you still use them? Any particular ones you really like using?
Yeah, I can't say I'm really focused on them at the moment. I mean, there's so many adaptogen plants. The good thing about adaptogens is that they're just adaptive. So it just covers whatever the body needs. It will balance that out. So it's a good one if you just want a little pick me up. Or something to just boost your immune system. I think Nanosoma is kind of adaptive too. It can be used by the body in different ways. But I'm not really focused on the herbs actually so much right now, I have to admit. I've been 2 years hard studying with my BodyTalk and really getting in to my consciousness stuff. And I think I've become a bit of I've made my way now through almost every supplement I think the planet has to offer on some level, like use them all. And I'm getting, my cupboard supply gets a little smaller now because I'm kind of fine tuning it, because I really am. Yeah. I think we're just sticking with the Nanosoma. It's like I don't have to buy all the other herbs. So kind of like I'm saving money on taking all the different things I used to buy initially. So then I might just be like one herb that I might just have, especially for now. Like at the moment, I'm taking resveratrol from red grapes because it's anti-aging. I'm 46, so that's a definite need for me. Are we the same age? I
Yeah,
thought, you know, I looked at you, Paul, and I thought he looks about the same age as me. We look like, same generation.
Yeah. And the same area. Good old Essex.
Yes, we come from the same area. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
It's funny.
So adaptogens, I sort of discovered them about 5-6 years ago, and I really, really like them. I do them probably most days of the week, and what I like about them is that they help your body adapt to different stresses, you know, whether they're mental, physical stresses, and they kind of work a bit like a Red Bull. You know, they give you that energy, they give you that pick me up, but there's no, like, you know, there's no diabetes at the end of it. So it's a win-win as far as I'm concerned, and I try and tell as many people as possible about them because I think they're a really, really useful thing to have in
so which one are you taking then? What ones are you taking? Is astragalus, that's an adaptogen, isn't it? Because I've been taking astragalus route. I think that was my last adaptogen I was taking.
That's a very good longevity herb because that does something with the, I'll try and get this word right, the telomeres or the telomeres, which is the
telomeres.
DNA. That's the one, DNA strand.
Yeah.
So that's really good for longevity, and it tastes really nice with cacao as well.
Yeah, it tastes a bit like ginseng kind of thing, I think.
I thought it tasted a bit like Ready Break. But it's probably just me, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, but it works really well with cacao. So yeah, I like that one. I really like reishi mushroom. I don't know if you've ever tried that before. But
I'm on chaga as well. Chaga and reishi. I've been on the chaga more than the reishi at the moment, to be honest.
Okay, yeah. And another one I used to before all this madness that, you know, started about 18 months ago. I I used to be a classical guitarist, and I used to perform every so often, and like most performers, you get a little bit nervous before you go on. So I'd have some this herb's called Gotu Kola, but I think it's also known as Brahmi, and that just really kind of helps get you in the zone and block everything out and just make you feel really calm and settled. And I'd highly recommend
So
that.
it's a nerve tonic. Is it a nerve tonic?
I think so. Yeah, I know that the yogis use it before they meditate. And elephants love it, evidently.
Well, yeah, to feel calm, that's nervous system, really. You have to have a calm nervous system to feel calm.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be good. Anything that treats your nervous system is wonderful.
And good old maca as well. I love maca. The energy you get from it is really, really cool. Yeah, there's so many. There's so many. Hishu is another one I really like. Ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is very similar to Brahmi or Gotu Kola in that it gives you that kind of calm, settled.
Yeah, it can make me a bit sleepy even. Ashwagandha.
It helps with sleep.
It's nice to take it in the evening if you're taking it. Don't wake up in the morning and have ashwagandha. That's my recommendation. Have it later on in the evening. Night, unless you're going out clubbing, of course, then don't.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so I've really enjoyed that. Thanks so much for coming on with me. I hope we can do it again sometime because there's still lots of subjects that I haven't broached with you. You cover.
And actually, I'd like to just. Oh, sorry. Go on, Paul.
No, you go on. You say. Go on.
I just wanted to say, actually, before we close off, that I also have a subliminal channel where I make healing subliminals. So you can watch those for free. It's a new channel. It's called Subliminal Junkie. You might not know about this, Paul, and I'll send you the link for it because those are wonderful medicines that I'm adding to it every week. There's some for female health. There's things. Really, there's a few things for everything. Some for motivation, win your dream house. You know, there's kind of different subliminal magics. Really, they're like healing meditations. But there's a lot on there for health. So there's a fascia healing one for chronic pain. I have, and that's all free resources. People can just go, they put your headphones on, you just listen to it. That's all you have to do, listen to it, and it starts to work. I put my BodyTalk healing knowledge into those subliminals, so you can partake of some of my healing abilities by listening to the medical subliminals that I'm putting on my Subliminal Junkie channel. That's my little gift to people right now because I know people are suffering a lot, and there's one for like, you know, anxiety or feeling fear, and there's different things on there. So I'd like to just tell your listeners about that. If they're feeling a little low or they have some problems, maybe I have a little subliminal medicine to help you over on that channel.
That'd be great. Send me the link and I'll do it down below the video. Do you have a website at all?
I haven't got my website up and running yet. I'm sort of in between websites. My life is so chaotic and so busy. It's like, you know, when you know you've got to do something, but you still haven't done it. It's there. Like I've got the skeleton of it already. That's not live of the website, but I need really my husband, who's the tech guy in the house, to help me with it. And unfortunately, he's working 16 hours a day at the moment because he's in a startup company. So my website is not quite up and running, but soon I will have my healing temple with all my everything to offer. But at the moment, it's best just find me on YouTube and have some videos on BitChute, and I'm on Twitter and Telegram, and I'm on Facebook. And if people want to book sessions with me for healing or body talk, they can find the links for that on my YouTube channel, and they can find my email address too on there if they want to reach out, or you can put it here if anyone has any questions or just wants to say hi. That's also nice to say hi.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I'll stick all that down below the video. Thanks very much for coming on. I really enjoyed that, and hopefully we can do it again sometime. Yeah.
Yes, my dear. Yeah, I'd love to come back. Lovely to speak to you. All right then. Take care. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.